Well, hello everyone, it's Texie88 here and welcome to another retro gaming review. And this time I am going to be taking a look at a game called Piromania on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Now I'm doing this mainly as a means of showing an online YouTuber and Twitch streamer about a game that he struggles to get to work. So on a stream that he did last night, as in 25th of August 2020. Now, this is a game in which you are basically a fireman. You're trying to put out every last flame in a building, and you have all sorts of means of doing this at your disposal, and you're also trying to save as many people in the building as you possibly can. So let's get this going. And that's me in the bottom left corner by that tap, or faucet if you're in the United States. That's the bucket I was just mentioning, and you get this little ladder you can place. Now you have to press down and fire to actually use this. Now, I could take that bucket, but I'm going to use that fire extinguisher, one of the fire extinguishers instead. It's got a much longer reach to it. I mean, one big downside with this game is it's a little bit glitchy. I mean, I wasn't... And another annoyance is when you're very close to a door, it's very easy indeed to get burnt like that because your character moves so fast. It's very hard to stop him in time. It's not so bad if there's another way round, but if there isn't, then you're gonna have a big problem. And I've got that same problem again, if you notice. So maybe I shouldn't have put that ladder there. And the main reason for picking the fire extinguisher over the bucket is it's got a much longer reach. Now, there is a reason I always try and leave the bucket on the bottom floor, because that's the only floor that cannot catch fire. If a fire takes out your bucket, you've got a big problem. And I've got... Okay, let's try that again. This time I'm going to be a little bit more choosy where I put that ladder. Now, where can I put it? That's a good enough place, isn't it? Another problem is that sometimes you go up more ladders than you particularly liked because of the glitches. I'm going to drop that and use the fire extinguisher instead. I mean, the bucket's fine, but it just doesn't have anywhere near as long a reach, and you don't get as many squirts of it. You get more squirts of the fire extinguisher than you do of the bucket. And again, I'm being very careful where I place the ladder. Go on, put it out then. Oh, God. The problem is that just then he was actually floating slightly above the floor. That's why that wasn't working just then. A man on that floor just above me just died there. No, don't go up another floor. I didn't tell you to do that. You can see it's got the fire extinguisher has a much bigger range. All the fires put out, now on to the next level. I'll have to use my bucket for a moment. If your bucket runs out of water, you can go to any tap, either this one here or one of the other taps on the map. Fire extinguisher. Go around the other end. that. Oh no! I'm going to have that same problem on that first floor. But there's a fire right next to the door. That's going to be a real problem. Now I just got to hope that that fire can actually burn through the door, so I don't have to open it. Because I know that unless I'm extremely lucky, if I try and open that door, I'm going to get burnt. It's not going to do it, is it? Oh God, woman got burnt up there. You have to keep a very close eye on when a piece of floor paneling turns red, because it means that it's catching fire. So even if there's not a visible flame, you still. Ah, I hate it when there's a flame right by the door. Fire extinguisher. A little bit of slowdown when there's lots of things happening on screen, though. Oh, level 4. Oh, there's the first appearance of the Pyromaniac, that pink or magenta guy with carrying the torch. He just sets anything and everything on fire. He's an absolute nuisance. And I've got no fire extinguishers this time, so I'm going to have to use my bucket. Oh, great, set fire to that ladder. Now, if you take out the oh, blast it! Now, if you take out the Pyromaniac, you have to be really careful, because where he was will automatically turn into a whole bunch of flames. Again, I've got no fire extinguishers available to me, so. Oh God, it's so hot. That guy's really beginning to annoy me. Well, actually, I better take out that fire because I've run out of water. Come on. Stop setting things on fire, you maniac. Move. Oh, this is going to be hard. I've run out of water again. That poor guy at the top can't get down because he's setting all these things on fire. I really need to take out the Pyromaniac. Right, that's a Pyromaniac. Oh, shut up! I barely even touched that. I'm sure I didn't touch that at all. That hit detection there was a little bit iffy. Don't! Oh, you scummer! The blooming ladder caught fire before I could do anything. Okay, one more turn. Right. Come on, take the fire extinguisher. have to use the bucket for a bit. Ooh, crikey. Right, I'm going to go up to that level just there to get the fire extinguisher. There's that fire by that tap. Quite a colourful game really, considering the Spectrum's attribute limitation. Oh no, I shouldn't have put that there, should I? Actually, maybe it won't be so bad. I better take out this bit down here first though. Right, fire extinguisher. Sometimes your character gets caught slightly in the middle of the levels, which can be a bit annoying, especially when you're trying to put out fires, because if you're not properly aligned with right, got to be careful where I put this one. Oh no, there is another slight niggle of this game where if you've got a, don't go up 2 floors. I didn't. If you have 2 adjacent bits of ladder next to each other, it does cause confusion with the game, especially when you're trying to go up a ladder and it suddenly splits into 2 and you can't go up the ladder anymore. Right, better fill up my... I mean, I don't know whether I'd run out or not, but I wasn't chancing it. Ooh, run out of water. Level 5 and I've gained another life somewhere along the way. Oh, didn't mean to put it there. See, that's what happens when you've got 2 ladder pieces next to each other. As soon as you're going up to a bit where it splits into 2, it gets confused. Right. Oh, I've run out of water. Okay. So an elephant put out those fires on the upper level for me. Very nice of it, but I don't quite know what an elephant's doing in a building like this. Never mind. Oh, for crying out loud. This guy moves too fast. Right. That's better. Oh no, I shouldn't have put that there. This is a fire extinguisher this time. Oh, I wasn't quite in range to do that one. Oh no. Actually, I don't think that's a fire. I hate it when there's a flame right on the other side of a door. Oh no, here's our friend again. But at least I've got a fire extinguisher this time. No, face the other. See what I mean? Sometimes he just moves way too fast. Oh dear, this has got severe slowdown on this stage. Don't you dare set fire to the ladder, you bugger. Oh, crikey, that was close. Remember I said that that's where he, if you managed to take out the pyromaniac, where he was turned into, oh no. Oh, I've got to get to those. Don't go up that floor. I've run out of water already. I've run out of water again. Oh, move! Oh, God, don't. The one time you want him to move fast, he doesn't. Oh, God. Oh, we've run out of water again. Actually, I think we need to take out that flame sword. Oh, for God's sake, I ran out of water. So there you have it. Piromania for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Now for my final verdict, since we've come up to nearly 20 minutes of gameplay. Graphics are pretty nice for the Spectrum. Fairly simple, but for the premise, you don't really need anything too complex. Pretty good use of colour. The occasional bit of attribute clash, but nothing too ugly. You can clearly see where the fire is, and the idea of the floor turning red just before flame appears, that's a nice touch, not to mention an integral part of the gameplay. Sound, well, it's pretty hard to comment on sound on the Spectrum, especially the 48K Spectrum, because its sound capabilities were quite were rather limited at the best of times. But what is there serves its purpose. You get that kind of hissing sound every time you use a fire extinguisher or expel water from your bucket, and other little sound effects here and there, like when you pick up and drop an item. Again, simplistic sounds, but they serve their purpose and don't make the game and are just plentiful enough to not make the game feel empty. Playability, fairly good. I would have liked it if the main character could actually move just a little bit slower, or especially when you've got a fire right next to the opposite side of a door, because the chances of you opening that door without singeing your big toe on the fire and burning to death is really quite tough, and one of the arguably the most frustrating thing about the game. So that particular kind of death is arguably the most unfair. There's also the problem that when there's a lot of action on screen, there's noticeable slowdown. other than that, the controls are pretty responsive, and I would have preferred it if there was something that actually showed you how much water you had left, because it can be quite a shock when you've got the whole burst of fire, a whole bunch of flames in front of you, just ready to use a bucket on, and suddenly you press fire and realise you actually haven't got any water in your bucket, so you have to frantically head for the nearest tap. Addictive, yes, it is fair. It is pretty addictive, and fairly different concept to the norm. You're not necessarily shooting things. You're not beating things up. You're not. There's a strategic element to it, such as where exactly is the best place to place that ladder that you get at the very start of each level. And deciding where to put things you don't need at that particular point in time, where it's not likely to catch fire and be lost for the rest of the level. So yeah, so I think I'll give this game 7 out of 10. Enjoyable and a bit different to the norm, but just some fairly noticeable flaws prevent it from being quite as enjoyable as it could have been. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Texie88 out.